Hello again, it's Triademity, and I'm back with some more Overwatch content. Well, I say back, this is actually my first Overwatch video, so if you are new, welcome. Current subscribers, this is the first Overwatch video, and it's going to be a pretty simple one, just going over the changes from Season 1 to Season 2 with all of the heroes. So we're going to be talking about specifically what's changed in each character, just a quick little review showing you the before and after. And then afterwards, once we're finished all the heroes, we'll be talking about like my personal opinions, telling you if I think if the nerfs or buffs were justified or not. If you have a look at like the bottom of the page, you'll see an interactive menu or the side of the page right now. You can click that at any time in case you don't really care about a hero, or maybe I'm getting boring and you just want to skip to the next hero. So yeah, guys, let's get started. Hanzo has received some significant changes for Season 2. Not only does he move slightly faster while aiming, arrows fired will also travel 30% faster. To combat the global hitbox changes for projectile shots, his arrows have received a 30% decrease in size. Overall, his arrows should still register larger than previous patch, so I'm going to keep this as a buff. On the flip side of the coin, Genji has received some fairly large nerfs in certain areas. Not only has his dash been changed to no longer destroy Widowmaker's Venom Mine and Junkrat's Steel Trap, it's also lost the ability to bypass Junkrat's Steel Trap, making him a lot less mobile against his defensive hero. His Swift Strike has also received a significant nerf. It's no longer able to interrupt his quick melee attack. He can no longer perform the instant combo to left or right click, followed by quick melee, followed by instant Swift Strike. Probably one of the largest, most unpopular nerfs to Genji is the removal of the ability to reset your double jump after climbing a wall. This has nerfed his mobility by a fair amount. And finally, one of the most controversial nerfs to Genji, the time reduction on his ultimate ability Dragon Blade. The duration has been changed from 8 to 6 seconds. This means it no longer outlasts most supports' ultimates. D.Va has received a well-warranted change towards the defensive matrix. The amount of time before a matrix starts recharging has been changed from 0.5 seconds to a full 1 second delay. This means D.Va won't be rewarded for repeatedly tapping her right click. While spamming defense matrix, this will work out at about half a duration as before. This means you will need to put a lot more thought into what you're blocking and when. McCree has had an interesting change to his ultimate ability. When you cancel Deadeye, it now fully depletes your ultimate charge instead of leaving it at 50%. This change will greatly affect using your ultimate as a distraction to force the enemy team into hiding, as you won't have it back up as quickly after faking it. Mei has had some great changes in an attempt to bring her back into the meta. Her ultimate ability now has a 10-meter radius up from an 8, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in-game it's a massive difference. It can make the difference between capping an objective and failing to do so. Her ultimate has also had a great quality of life change. Instead of bouncing off barriers, it now pierces them. This will allow you to position her ult better while being protected by the enemy team's front line. Mercy has also had a reasonable sized buff to bring her more in line with the other supports. This is an attempt to get her back in the current meta. Her heal has had a straight 20% increase in efficiency. This makes her capable of providing some extremely consistent healing. Her ult has also had a slight buff, allowing your teammates to get back into action slightly faster than before. While it looks irrelevant on paper, the decrease in time before your teammates can move works out pretty well when you're resurrecting more than one person. Roadhog's chain hook has had a nice quality of life change. It will now teleport the player's hook to the original location they were in when hooked by Roadhog. This means Roadhog's hook will be much more consistent, and players won't tend to teleport behind him or get caught on walls as often. Zenyatta has been the staple of nearly every competitive team throughout Season 1. This is because his Orb of Discord has been extremely easy to apply and equally as powerful. This has been toned down a bit to give other supports a chance at a slot in the meta. Zenyatta's Orb of Destruction damage has been increased to make up for the 20% damage loss from Orb of Discord. Soldier 76 has had yet another change to his Heavy Burst Rifle, an attempt to increase his long-range efficiency and hopefully bring him back into the current meta. The spread now grows at a much quicker rate, but also recovers much more quickly. While controlling your burst correctly, this change should make his long-range damage much more reliable at killing targets like Pharah and Widowmaker. Lucio's Amp It Up ability while using his speed buff has been nerfed by 30%, bringing it from a 100% to 70% speed boost. While not the most groundbreaking change, this will mean your team has to push slightly less aggressively while assaulting objectives. Alright then guys, so just like a quick little review on if I feel these buffs were warranted or nerfs, etc. Personally, I think most of the changes have been for the positive in terms of competitiveness in the game. The biggest two changes, or the biggest two characters that have been changed, are probably Hanzo and Genji. Those two, in my eyes, have seen probably the most action so far in this patch. Hanzo, kind of early PTR, was a bit of a machine. Not only was his arrows moving a lot faster, but his hitboxes were through the roof with the new projectile change. But Blizzard kind of listened to feedback. Thank you, Blizzard, thankfully, for that. Just like, Jesus Christ, it was painful. He was literally just one-shotting people so easily. So they've reduced his arrow size by 33%. And I actually feel like Hanzo's in a good spot. He's a powerhouse when played well. And that's kind of horrifying in like the later MMR. So like old rank 75, new kind of Grandmaster, maybe Master ranks. A player who's going to play Hanzo now will be pretty beastly and he's going to be pretty scary. But I'm not sure if it'll kick up too much fuss in the competitive scene. I don't think he'll be picked in every single game and every single game type. I think he'll just have a bit more of a niche now and maybe be played on assaults on a few different maps, maybe defense. But overall, I think Hanzo is in a pretty good spot now, and it's nice to see him playable in comparison to before, where you'd have to be some kind of god to actually play him. So moving on to Genji. Now, Genji, this is a bit of like a bittersweet bittersweet nerf to him, because he's like, I've always wanted him to be nerfed a bit because he's been like my most hated hero, and I know how to play against him. Like, I'm not an idiot. I know like when to save cooldowns, how to avoid his reflection, and so on. The only thing that gets me about Genji is his mobility's fine. I don't care about that. His Swift Strike combo's fine, whatever. It's just his ultimate, and specifically his ultimate outlasting healer cooldowns. The way I see Overwatch is it's like a game of chess. Like, you're trying to force your teammate into, or your opponent into like an awkward situation where, like, if you can force out the Zenyatta's ult without using your own ults, then that means you're probably going to win the next team fight. So if you can apply enough pressure without using your ult to force their ults, then chances are you're going to win the team fight, push the objective. So the thing that bothered me about Genji so much is that you would use his ult, and then all the healers would pop their ults. So like Zenyatta would pop his, or like Lucio's might be on cooldown. But then when the Zenyatta's runs out, Genji still has 2 seconds of just like one-shotting people. And that's just not how it feels like the core mechanics of the game works. It feels like the ult should be balanced in a way like Pharah uses her ult, Zenyatta uses his, Pharah loses the battle because he used his ult too early. Zenyatta doesn't have his ult up, Pharah ults, she wins. Same works for Genji. So the change to his ultimate, I feel like, has been absolutely perfect. 2 seconds off. It's all we needed. 2 seconds was the window we needed closed for him to outlast healer ults and be, for some reason, his ult being way better than everybody else's in terms of length. Now, his double jump, I find, was completely unnecessary. Yeah, I mean, Genji's a pain in the ass to kill if he knows how to play, but he's still a pain in the ass to kill if he knows how to play. It's just sad for the Genji players who loved him for his mobility. The Swift Strike combo, I'm moderately happy about it being nerfed. It wasn't really a skill gap. Anyone could do it. It didn't add some weird skill into the game. It was just kind of ridiculous how he could 200 to 0 like a mid-health champion or hero. So overall, I think the Dragon Blade was warranted and the double jump was not. Swift Strike possibly warranted as well. And we'll quickly wrap it up with just like a quick little touch on some of the other ones. I find D.Va's defensive matrix was absolutely crucial to bring down. She could play way too reactively, just spamming her right click and blocking whatever the hell she wanted. So definitely like having the defensive matrix while clicking was warranted, in my opinion. Going on to Mei. Mei's yeah, I like the Mei changes. She was kind of barely in the meta, and I think this is what she needed to get into the meta. So on King of the Hill in competitive, I feel like she'll actually be played at higher ratings, which is nice, because it's nice to see her come into the meta and have spots, because she's a fun, versatile champion, and I think she deserves to be up there. Mercy, yeah, I think Mercy buffs are good. She could still do with some other change. I'm not sure what. Maybe change her damage output or somehow get her back into the meta solidly. Some like core change in mechanic would be nice to see. But I feel like she's in a good spot, and she's going to probably be played in the current meta, like competitively. Who else? We got Lucio's speed boost reduction. Yeah, perfect. Nerf that. It's ridiculous. Just rotating the game around, speed boosting into the point over and over was kind of annoying, and it still will be played like that, but it'll be less effective, which is nice. Roadhog, I don't understand if it's fully a buff or a nerf. It feels like a buff, but it feels like it's bugged. On PTR, I was pulling in Hanzo's, and they weren't going straight in front of my face, which, if you land the hook, it should be a kill, or they should be pulled straight to you. Regardless, if you think chain hook's OP or not, it feels like it might be a nice quality of life change at the moment. Soldier 76, huge buff, my favorite character. If anyone says it's a nerf, I don't care. I feel like this is the buff he needed. It kind of brings him back to what he was. If you control your bursts in like a 3 shot burst instead of a 4 shot burst, you can kill Fars again, which is fantastic, because I was so sad that they changed it and he wasn't in the meta. But now it looks like he might be competing with McCree again. And finally, we'll just leave it on Zenyatta. Yes, nerf his Orb of Discord. It's annoying how he's played in every team because his Orb of Discord is just so good. I'm so happy that it's been nerfed a little bit, because it was 50% too much, especially when it instantly applies to somebody from across the map. And yeah, it's nice that they rebuffed his damage, because Zenyatta is in a good spot because of his damage. And if they nerfed his damage after Discord, then he'd be probably less played again. So yeah, guys, those are all the my opinions, I guess you could call them, on the changes. That wraps it up for the video as well. Thanks for watching, guys. This is my first Overwatch video. Next week, I'm kicking off a series of how to like improve yourself as a player and get into the higher ranks in competitive. And by higher ranks, I mean like old rank 70 plus, new kind of diamond through masters, hopefully to grandmasters, but that's a pretty big leap. But we'll be just doing little techniques on like how to improve your aim, your teamwork, etc., etc. It's probably going to be about a 5-part guide, so watch out for that. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you're new and you like the video, like and subscribe. Much appreciated. And if you guys are from my Diablo following, I got a Diablo video coming as well in the next few weeks. So I haven't decided which guide it's going to be, which character, which spec, but there's definitely going to be one coming out. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.